Welcome back to the Celtics Nation Rise podcast, episode 43, first episode of the fan series. I'm your host, Griffin Aldridge. Alongside me is my co-hosts, Seamus Darlingo and Andrew Quinn. And we have our first special guest here. We got Joshua Griffith, other known as Fake Jaylen Brown, on the podcast today. So really quick before you give your intro, I just wanted to say episode 43 presented by Celtics Talk Weekly, and this is going to kickstart the fan series. So uh, you guys might know him as Fake Jaylen Brown, but he's also a Celtics fan. So if you guys are interested, hit us up on Instagram in the DMs or comment down below why you're a Celtics fan. And if you guys want to join the podcast, let us know. But enough about me talking about that. Why are you, well, introduce yourself really quick for all the viewers at home.
Oh, it kind of cut out. Say the last part real quick.
Yeah, of course. So just introduce yourself for all the viewers at home.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, like you said, my name is Joshua Griffith. I'm from Connecticut. I mean, aside from Connecticut, my home is Boston. Like a lot of my family lives in Boston. So if we're not in Connecticut, we're there. My dad, diehard Celtics fan, diehard Boston fan. So I was kind of born into it. So luckily, I was born into a team that's literally a winning town. So, um, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
Well, I appreciate it. We're going to show some pictures off. You guys know him. You guys know him on the streets of Boston. I'm going to save two for later in the podcast. But, you know, you look at all these pictures and it's just like everyone thinks essentially you're Jaylen Brown. And I think I just got to ask the first question, too, on um, what would you say is the main thing people come up to you and say? Like, have you had a bunch of, I just want to start off with some stories before we get into the fandom and everything and asking you questions, but like it's crazy to me. I bet people come up to you all the time. You're like, hey, can I have an autograph? Da, da, da. Do you like shut them down? Have you ever given a Jaylen Brown autograph? What's that whole spiel look like, kind of?
So one, I've never given a fake autograph. It was funny because someone actually said, "Well, if you're not him, then who are you?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, just can I have your autograph?" And I was like, "Okay." So I just literally wrote Josh because the dude, I don't know, he was. I feel like it would have made his day, so I just did it. It was literally in a grocery store too, on Halloween, mind you. But aside from that, I like the main thing is people just want pictures. So it's like whether they think I'm him or not. I think at this point in time, a lot of people know I'm not him. It's kind of like the double takes. Like, you know who you look like? That's the main question. Do you know who you look like? So at this point in time, it's like wherever I am, people want to take pictures. Can I get a quick picture for me or my son or like doesn't matter who it is, somebody usually is asking for a picture.
That's incredible. So I'll start off the first question and we'll just hit you with some questions. So my first question, obviously, and this is what the series is about. Where did your Celtics fandom start? Where did the whole journey start? And how did you fall in love with the Boston Celtics? You obviously pretty much summed it up already, but where did this all start from?
No, so yeah, like I was saying, my dad um was born actually he was born in Barbados, but when he moved over he came straight to Boston. So it's like as a sports lover, basketball was one of those sports, and then when I was born, I was literally born into that. And I feel like I'm a natural born athlete, so it's like I'm very competitive and basketball is my first love. So it's like as I continue to grow, just like as a kid, like I started to see the Celtics as more than just a sports team. It's like when you're a Celtics fan, you feel like you're a part of the team, and it's like more than just a basketball team. It's like a family from like aside from your actual family, if that makes sense. So it's like my family living in Boston. It's like every time we went there and we watched the games, it's like my favorite. Well, obviously my favorite player now is Jaylen, but um, like growing up, whether it was the whole Celtics era with Paul Pierce for God knows how long before Allen came and Garnett came, it's like even the years before that, before we actually got the chip, it's like all I was paying attention to was just the competitive basketball play, and it's like you get that urge, you just want to get on the court yourself and shoot around or play one on ones. It's like a lot of times everybody was outside just playing, so it's like once I had that love going for it, I don't know, basketball was already there, but being in Boston, it was kind of like it's a Boston native, so it only felt right to be a Celtics fan.
I love that. Seamus, you want to
Uh,
ask your first question?
No, of course. I mean, first of all, Josh, thank you for coming on our program here today. And we're talking about, liking Boston sports, and you're from Boston, obviously. Do you like other Boston sports teams out there? The Celtics community is obviously one of the more special. Boston, just if you look at all the communities in Boston, the
Yeah.
Celtics community is one of the more special ones. But they're Red Sox, the Bruins, the Patriots, they're all special too. Do you have fandom for other Boston sports teams?
So yes, to answer your question, to be a little more like in depth, to tell you the level of love I have for the other Boston teams. So I have three other siblings and then my dad, and we literally have a group chat called Everything Boston. So whether it's the Celtics or the Patriots or the Red Sox or the Bruins or I forgot what the soccer team was called. It's like
Revolution.
Revolution.
I got the sticker on the wall. The other day I was like, man, I randomly have a Revolution sticker on the wall over here. I
Exactly.
never think about them.
So to answer your question again, yes, everything Boston.
I will
I
say
got
now.
real quick, just because you talked about how you have a family group chat, you know what I mean, and you previously had family in the beginning. Like, how have you seen this kind of insurgence of like your persona of fake Jaylen Brown, and like how have you seen just that impact your kind of like the community? Like, have you seen your inability to impact the community with your with this new opportunity that you gained?
Yeah, so like I mean, in the beginning, before all of this kind of blew up into a whole like public stunt or whatever you want to call it, um, plenty of times I was, told that I looked like him. And the way it all started was a friend of mine told me that like he's like, I dare you to go to a Celtics game dressed up. And I was like, I don't even know how to get all that extra stuff. I just have a jersey. So then obviously I looked into it. And then when I went to the game, it was the end of the season, I think a few years ago at the Raptors game. And that's when Jaylen like messed up his hand, like cut his hand on like a vase or something like that.
Wow.
And I don't know if you know Bree, but it's like she does like the Bree caps and all that stuff. She's the one that actually made me go viral the first time because she posted me on Twitter, and it got like 6 million views, and I don't have Twitter, so my cousin literally texted me. He's like, "Dude, you are like all over the place," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" So when I clicked the link, I was like, "Whoa, okay." So at that point in time, I kind of went from like a small crowd of people to being like, oh, you look like Jay, to every other person, like literally. And I think it's because I was seen all over the internet, which kind of added to that. Um, but like my siblings, it's funny because they're like, yo, you seen the thing? And when they have the conversation with them, they're like, yeah, that's my brother. They're like, what, really? Yeah, especially in Boston. Like my aunt, she works with a lot of people in the community, and my other aunt actually works at the YMCA, and the junior Celtics, like they play there and they have like the practices and stuff there. So it's like a few times they wanted me to come down or come up more so. But I live in Connecticut, so it's not always like the easiest thing. Um, but it's like I'm not saying I have any type of level of intensity compared to him, but a few times I've been told like I'm the next best thing. So it's like when I see like kids, like I'm giving them high fives and hugs and taking pictures for people, and it's like the way that they kind of receive that, it's like a whole, just a different ways of love, and it kind of like makes me feel good to, making, even if it's one person making their night, it's kind of cool.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
I
So when
will
it
say,
all started, sorry, Griffin. When it all started, did people just start coming up to you immediately, or was it kind of like how you're talking about, kind of small crowds, and then it eventually went into? It feels like now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like every time you're at that North Station entrance in front of the TD Garden, it's like you always have a cluster of people around you. I haven't been there to actually witness it myself, but you look at some of the photos and it feels like people just kind of gravitate towards you. How did that all go about when you first started doing the bit over and over again? Because you've been there multiple times,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously. I mean, more than multiple times. If I'm
yeah.
not mistaken, this is 3 years, right? 3 years since this
So
started.
it's I think it was 3 years ago when it started, but that was like a one-time encounter, like at that Raptors game. But
Hmm.
aside from that, when it really started is when we were like 20-0 at home, and it was that game we played against the Nuggets, and
Oh
that's the
yeah.
game that we lost. So that game, that's the game like my whole world and like changed because that's when I met the Fenway brothers. They always outside the arena, and it's like as soon as I came out the Uber, it's like I I don't know. People automatically are double takes and everything, but once I walked through the doors, like it was almost impossible to get through the metal detectors. It was crazy because then when I did go through the metal detectors and I went up the stairs and now I'm like in the hallways. Yeah, like tip off, give or take, is in 5 minutes. I didn't even get to my seat on like 15 minutes in, and I'm like, if y'all look on the screen, he's right there, like on the court. They're like, it's supposed to be on the court. What are you doing? And then headlines kind of made it like two Jaylen Browns are better than one and stuff like that. But when I tell you, it was one thing during the game and like during halftime, but the first time when the game was over and I walked outside, I kid you not, there was literally like a crowd of people just waiting for me, like 100 people deep, and I'm like, what did I get myself into? And
Yeah.
I had someone recording, so it's like I only see so much like first person. So like all those TikTok videos, I had like my aunt or whoever else like recording because like they want to be a part of the process in that type of way. So I'm like by all means, but firsthand I only see so much. So then when I go back and I watch the videos, I'm like, wow, like how did I not see that or like what? Huh? Like one time I found like a random like brown thing on the back of my shoulder, and I had no idea where that came from. There was I posted a TikTok video where I was taking like a picture with this kid, and like this weird like older guy kind of like walks in the background of like making funny faces. It's like I don't know these things are happening until I watch like the playbacks. So I'm just like I don't know, but it's always the same thing with the crowd of people kind of around me. So it's like I kind of embraced it, and it's funny because even like the staff of like the people in the blue shirts or even like the officers. Sometimes the officers want to act like my bodyguard. So it's literally all fun and games. Like it's just good energy.
I love that. So I do want to say one thing. I already have appreciated that you embrace your looks like Jaylen Brown and you don't over abuse that power. You're not like, oh well, like doing signatures and stuff. You're very respectful
Yeah.
about that, and that's all I mess with. And I do have to say, when you guys were talking about the Revolution, I didn't even know that was the mass soccer team. So I guess I have to hop on that. But I'm from
MLS, Griffin, MLS. St.
I,
Louis has a
Come on,
team
Griff.
there.
yeah,
St. Louis, Boston. It's still, well, New
well, hear
England, I
me
should
out.
say.
Hear me out. I have to say the Heart of Pine are in Maine, so I might have to roll with that. Either or. But
Sure.
I'm all Boston too, though. But my question for you, you've already like summed it up. But and this might be hard to run back on. But would you say, do you remember your first time someone was like, "Oh, you look like Jaylen Brown"? Do you remember that first interaction? And was it like, obviously you already mentioned it, but like, was it like just from there? Did it just start going like, "Oh, you look like Jaylen Brown, Jaylen Brown"? Like, how did that go about, kind of?
So believe it or not, the first time I was told that I looked like Jaylen Brown was from my mom, and
Really?
it was literally the day he got drafted. Because before he got his braids, he had like a fro and like a maturing beard and whatnot. So did I. I didn't have braids. I literally had a fro and a maturing beard, and I was talking to my mom, and as soon as they called his name and they put him on the screen, my mom literally was like, "You look like him." I'm like, so oh. So then from that point forward, when he got drafted, because I think it's like easy to put two and two together because I'm a Boston fan. So it's like because that's the team that I watch all the time and that's the team people kind of like affiliate me with, they automatically connect me to Boston because I make it like clear to everybody that's my team. After that day, it was kind of just like more and more people saying, "Yo, you know who you look like." But then when he got braids, it was over.
It
Yeah,
was. I do
it
have
all started with my mom though.
that's so funny. I do have one more question too,
Mhm.
and then they'll keep going. We'll keep going. But on my head right now, is Jaylen Brown your favorite player? I would say for you getting that recognition, he probably turned into your favorite player. But would you say he's your favorite player on the Celtics right now, definitely, or is it close still?
So like he's my favorite player, but I feel like he was my favorite player to start with because when I would play basketball, I never got to play to the levels that I wanted to because of injuries. But I feel like I made him personally my favorite player when he got drafted because I seen his highlights, and I feel like we have very similar game. So like his mid range and like how he would shoot the three sometimes, but like driving and like facilitating when he can and when he should. Literally, I feel like our games kind of mock each other. Obviously, he got to play high school and college, and now he's pro. But like, if I had to compare myself to any player in the league, like obviously, if I was 7 feet tall, I would, even if he was my favorite player, I wouldn't say I play like him. But he's literally an inch taller than me, so it's like the way I would play, and if I had to compare it to somebody, I would say it's literally him. And it just happens to be that he's like an all NBA player and whatever else, but his style of play is kind of what did it for me. And that was like before he, kind of like blew up into the playoff god, like how he saved our season last year against the Pacers to sweep like being Eastern Conference Finals, like all that stuff going on before he was even an all-star. Like he was my favorite way before all the look-alike stuff and whatever else. So like I have other players I like, don't get me wrong, but like I don't know. I feel like because his style of play kind of resembled mine, or mine resembled his, vice versa. That's what did it for me.
That's incredible.
That's I feel like your height, that's probably the biggest thing that's instilling belief inside people because if you're like 6 foot tall or below that, it's like people would probably look the other way, like, oh, he looks like Jaylen Brown. But I feel like the height, it's like when they see your height, it's like, well, wait, Jaylen, wait, Jaylen Brown, that man's tall too. It's like, well, what's going on here?
Can I
But
add on, Seamus? Can I add
yeah,
on
go
to
ahead.
that too? I would say because you're an athlete too, and you like have a muscle build, like your build's like Jaylen Brown too. So it's not
Not
even.
yet.
Well, yeah, you
Almost.
got.
Yeah.
I tell you though,
That's
but
why
like
you're in the
you're athletic, so it's not like me. Like I'll say, even though it's not true, like a fat Luka Doncic without the mustache, but but yeah, but athletic build too. So Seamus, you
No,
continue.
no, you're completely right, Griffin. I mean, literally, this the multiple attributes, multiple attributes. It's not just the face, the look. It's like it's everything. It's the physique. It's everything. But ultimately, you being fake Jaylen Brown in the setting of the Celtics community, do you actually enjoy having that reputation within the Celtics community?
So yes, but in the beginning when I first did it, when Bree like when she posted me on Twitter and everything, I didn't really know how to feel about it because like in the heat of the moment, it was very like overwhelming because it was a public stunt. I didn't like I had an idea of what to expect, but the level of intensity was literally insane. So after that, and I got posted, when I started seeing the comments, I was getting cooked. Like people were saying some crazy things, and I'm like, yeah, this was a bad idea. But then it came to the point where it was like a who cares what anybody says, and it's like you're not winning unless you have haters, and I'm not saying I'm a celebrity or anything, but like if you pay attention to celebrities of any sort, people are going to talk bad about you and say whatever most of the time because they want to be you or they want to be in your situation or things of that sort. But at this point in time, like I said, it's fun. I embrace it when it doesn't matter who it is. Like GRD, I go to his watch parties all the time. People call me Josh, but like they know me as the lookalike. They mess around with me as the lookalike. But at the end of the day, it's like even though that's kind of my identity, it's like they still know me as me at this point. So it's cool because in the beginning it went from the lookalike, and now even at the games, like yo, it's Josh, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So kind of played off nicely.
And you mentioned being out there in the Celtics community. Do you have a favorite memory from any time being within the community, whether it's at, obviously you have a lot of moments outside of the Garden, just with fans in general, but anywhere within the Celtics community? You mentioned GRD. Do you have a favorite memory anywhere? We also know, I don't know if we pulled up that picture or not, Griffin, here. We can pull it up again, but we obviously see you were at the parade last year here. And this again, this is just another photo of like, you could convince, I want to say like half the NBA fan base that this was actually a photo of Jaylen Brown. Like this. I'm
And
sorry, you look like you 100% look like Jaylen Brown at the parade here. But you see,
Hey,
when you
like,
see that,
my buddy,
obviously.
like,
Go ahead, Andrew.
oh yeah, well you could pull that photo up, Griffin.
here, I'm gonna. All right. So, what
Can
one
I
should
can
we?
I actually say something about that picture?
Oh yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
Well, actually, just the parade in general. So a group of us from GRD has like a group chat, and there's like a certain amount of people in it, but at the games, it's kind of like a collective group that usually go to those games, and we take like a group photo and stuff like that. But there are a few people that I like stuck around with at the end of the game that are like in the group chat overall. But we were walking, and I don't really know the streets like that, but there was this big building with like the apartments and stuff. And all you see on like one of the like the outer deck porch things, like 100, like literally 100 things up. You see a little kid. He's like literally yelling to his grandmother. Like you can hear him yelling to his grandmother inside the house. Jaylen Brown's walking on the streets, Mom. We gotta go downstairs. It's like, come on, hurry up before he's going. And he's like yelling. He's like, please don't leave, please don't leave. And I'm like, so like me and everybody with me, they're like, no, I'm not him. He's not him. And he didn't believe it. And like literally 2 minutes later, you have the kid come down on the street with his grandmother, and I'm like, oh God, man. He's like, that's not him. Like we try to tell you. So like the parade itself was like pretty crazy on its own. But yeah, that picture, I think I was getting interviewed by somebody, and they're like, "Can you just pose?" And I was like, "What do you want me to do? Just cross your arms." I was like, all right, no problem.
Well, we have another picture right here too. Andrew, you want to explain this one really quick?
Yeah, another one. So I was fortunate enough to be at the parade, and I ran into Josh actually. So there's the photo right there on the screen. But one of my other friends actually took a photo with him as well, and then afterwards he like put on his like Snapchat stories like, I actually just met Jaylen Brown, like, or something along those lines, and he really believed it was Jaylen Brown. He really thought it was Jaylen, and I'm like, dude, he just went by on the boat. Like, you're not just walking. I'm like, dude, look
I
at the
got
boat.
posted on the Celtics page because I was on one in the crowd. They put me on a crate so I could like stand above everybody. Like I'm not already 6'5", but literally when he was passing on the boat and he's like, giving like the salutes, and I think it was a thing where he was flexing and I was flexing at the same time, and like literally the post on the Celtics, I think the Celtics posted it, but it's like the crowd and like me in the center going like this with the hat on and everything. And if you would have looked as like a reflection, you see him doing the same thing like on the boat.
That's sick.
And it's like when it's simultaneous, it's like the picture as a whole. It's pretty cool. And the thing of his face, that was funny on its own too, because as I'm standing in the crowd, I forgot what the radio station was called, but they had him and I think they had Tatum. Yeah, that one. So literally everybody around me is like, give him the Jaylen head. I'm like, oh my God. And they're literally yelling at they were in the center, where like everything's blocked off, people walk in there. So like literally the guy came over and he's like, all right, but I'm gonna need this back at the end of the thing. So I was like, okay. Yeah, it's in my other room. So he never came back and got it. So I guess I just walked around with it and kept it for the day. But now I have it. So.
That's incredible. I do gotta say, so Andrew just met Jaylen Brown too. So you look at these two pictures and it's like, we have JG and JB, I'll even flip flop between the two. I mean,
shout out 741. Go give Josh some 741 merch, huh?
He's got the merch.
Some of my people got I guess they like gifted some of them like the shoes and stuff. So I'm like, I need to get on that type of wave. I want free stuff. I got the black shoes, but I want the white ones that just came out.
How do you like them? Do they fit your play style?
Yeah, they're honestly more comfortable than I thought. The first time I put them on, I was like, these are kind of different, but the traction grip and like the way they feel after a while. I literally wore them to the game, and I'm literally wearing it for a few hours. And usually after a while, your feet start to hurt from sneakers. I was fine. So I'm like, that says a lot on its own, but they're very comfortable. Like I said, the traction is very sticky in a way. Like whatever moves you do, you're not going to slide, not going to slip. But they're also really durable too. So they're good. And they have like the part where when you tie the laces, you can kind of like tuck them under. So they're not going to be coming out and all that stuff. So I think they were well constructed.
Yeah. So we heard a lot about you with fake Jaylen Brown and stuff, but I do want to kind of roll into the season and, the championship and all of that. What would say your favorite memory was either this past season and last season, winning the championship? What's been your favorite Celtics memory as a Celtics fan?
Well, I mean, obviously I made a lot of memories last year into this year, but it's kind of hard to pinpoint one. Honestly, I feel like the night that I got saluted by Jaylen, even though I didn't meet him, it's like at that point in time, like he knew I existed, like for himself, because I was sitting however many rows behind his bench. And it was funny because first it was Derek White, and Derek White was like pointing me out. And he's sitting on the bench and he's like, I'm not turning around. I don't know what they were telling him, but I think he thought like they were like messing around with him or whatever. But then it came to the part where Drew Holiday literally kind of like went in his ear and he literally like pointed and he's like, and he did a double take. So when he did that, I was smiling. So then he saluted me. So I was like, I was cool. So like, I don't know, being saluted from your favorite player, that's like something you don't forget. But it's like the way it happened too. It's like they were joking around about it, and then Drew literally like whispered in his ear, pointing at me. And at that point in time, it was like, well, that just happened. So
you had like the whole Celtics team looking at you, and I know they talked about it too for the press conference. What was your thoughts when you saw that clip too?
So that was actually an interesting moment for me because I don't know who the reporter is, but I didn't really like the way he addressed it, only because he was kind of like, he kind of went with leading questions, and I don't remember verbatim, but pretty much he was saying like, are you aware that there's like a guy out there dressing up looking like you with the braids and everything, tricking people, like signing autographs, and he's like, yeah, I'm aware. It's like the way he was asking the question kind of made it seem like I'm literally trying to be him and take his everything. And he's like, yeah, how does that make you feel? He's like, like, it's cool, I guess. It's like, a lot of people get a lot of laughs out of it. And I made a response video to it explaining that off rip, don't sign autographs. too. It's literally for fun, and like each time, I said what I said. I put like a split scene, kind of like literally proving and showing the case. So like when I said I don't sign autographs, there was a split, a cut scene of like a kid asking me, and I was like, I can't sign it, but I'll take a picture with you. Still willing to do so. Another thing, like a lot of people get a lot of laughs out of it. I put like 2-3 things of people like dying, like saying I said something or someone said something, and it was just like people laughing and smiling right after. So, I mean, I'm almost certain that he's seen that. I hope he did, but like the reporter, I just didn't really like how he kind of led the questions in a negative way. So, I don't know.
Well, we're gonna find that reporter. We're gonna hold them accountable here on Celtics Talk Weekly. We talked to some of these guys, and it's like
Yeah,
the questions, like sometimes the questions they can be a little harsh. Sometimes the
yeah,
questions are a little vague, and it's like sometimes the approach. It's like sometimes the intent is there, but then the approach and the execution is just completely all off. But I know we were talking about the Celtics season here, but I do want to get back into a little bit of the logistics of you being fake Jaylen Brown and being out in the community because obviously you have a lot of stories of interactions. Do you think over time, with all the interactions you've been able to gain within the Celtics community, have you gotten better at handling different situations? Say like
yeah.
the apartment situation where the kid comes down and he's on the street and you're like, oh, I'm not him, I'm not him. Like, do you feel like you're better at handling the situation of being fake Jaylen Brown today than you were, say, day one?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not gonna say I feel like I've been in every circumstance at this point because anything can happen. But I feel like the
I'm
base.
waiting for a podcast between you and Jaylen Brown. Like I'm
Not,
picturing it
forget
right here. Like you two.
forget the
Sorry, Andrew, but
podcast.
you two in the top.
No,
Like you, Jaylen Brown. Like
no,
100%. We'll do a
If
5 minute.
I
We'll do 5.
if,
yeah.
Andrew,
with
join
whatever
us next.
power I have, like I'm going to be in like if I was in Boston when they did the pop up, I would have literally went to the 741 thing, but I'm here, so it's kind of hard to do so. And if I was there, the world would have like blew up. So like I mean, the podcast absolutely. If it's there, I'll definitely do it. But because the season is kind of over at the moment, I'm actually trying to go to Boston next week. So if by the grace of God, whatever happens, if he's there and I'm around, I'm gonna make my way to wherever. But I feel like the encounter, it's only bound to happen at this point sooner rather than later. But to answer your initial question, it's like in the beginning, I did not really know what I was in for. At this point in time, nothing really phases me because, like, even like I said, like with the negative comments and like the people were cooking me and all that stuff, it's like at first I'm like, well, dang. Now I literally laugh. Sometimes I troll the people that like troll me or like come for me and stuff like that. People will say, "Yeah, this dude needs help." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "Well, can you help me?" Like I don't know. I will say the most random things. So whether it's like in person or social media or whatever it is, it's like everything, like I said, it's fun and games, good energy. So if it's bad intent or whatever coming my way, I will literally just reverse it into some type of positivity and put it right back at you. Take it how you want it. So
I feel like and there's it appears that it's been for the better, like this whole experience. It's like how has it impacted you like outside of this like fake Jaylen Brown persona? Like has it improved your life from just like understanding how to deal with hate or understanding how to like deal with social media? Because I know we were gonna shout out, but your brand, what's the
yeah.
brand? You know, clothing, correct? Like how has that helped you kind of like propel your career and success outside of this area?
Yeah. So I mean, in a way, like this whole thing kind of turned me into some type of level of a public figure. So it's kind of like it forced me to deal with like crowds of people or people like wanting to talk to you or wanting to put you on a show or like kind of not use me but like use me in some type of way to promote what they have going on or things of that nature. So, I mean, overall, like for me, it taught me that it's like I do have a clothing line. I'm also like a music producer. I make beats and stuff like that. So with this, it kind of helped me with the having to put myself out there, because in order for you to be successful, like with a clothing line or being a music producer, you have to put yourself out there. You have to try to promote yourself and invest in yourself, get people's attention. Like you know literally the best brands and the most successful people are the people that are known. So whether they're known like face front or behind the curtain, their name is still there. So it's like when people know that I exist, and now they see like what I do alongside my name, whether it's the lookalike or Josh or however people know me, now associated with that is that I make music and that I have a clothing line. And it's like everything kind of becomes more like in sync, because then when you see the videos, you see how I interact with the public and the communities. And I mean, I only hope that it comes off as good energy and that becomes appealing to the eye. So when things like that are taking place, one, it also humbles me, because it's like I don't take it for granted. So the next person can literally, like, their head can become so big. Oh my god, like I'm famous, and like I'm probably the last person that goes about it that way, because it's like people tell me all the time, "You're famous." I'm like, no, I'm not. Like in a non-dismissive way, but it's kind of like like I said, in a humble sense. So I take all of this to practice the just what it would be like to be known worldwide or in whatever type of sense, but instead of like the lookalike, being known for my music, or being known just as a genuine person that loves to like my clothing line is Dino Apparel, and for those that don't know, Dino is give in Greek, like that's the pronunciation of it. And like the whole message is to give. In addition to that, one of my logos is love above hate, and then the hate is crossed out. So the overall message is to give love and lessen the hate. Obviously, there's no way of like making hate go away permanently. That's obviously not realistic, but that doesn't mean there can't be ways to, lessen it by literally, if you have somebody on the street with the word give on their back, like it's obviously a positive message. And when you see the word give, it's going to register in your brain ways of giving, whether it's like time, effort, kindness, like doesn't love, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then even farther, if you see somebody walking and literally on their back or on their front is love, and then the word hate xed out, very self-explanatory. So like that being my message, I feel like that also goes hand in hand with like me as a character, me as a person. Doesn't matter what it is. So I try to have everything just to kind of bounce off one another. Everything is connected.
I love that. I love that. I do have a question for you. So obviously this picture of Jaylen Brown, water. I know you do lifting and stuff. I saw it on your Instagram. Are we gonna get a water training video like this? Or we were talking on the last podcast. I forget if it was Andrew or Seamus that said it, or are we gonna have more of a Rocky type? New logos, by the way. That logo is non-existent anymore. So let's cross that out. But what are we gonna get something like this? Are we gonna get a training video this off season? And what are your thoughts on Jaylen Brown and his message, kind of staying in Boston this year and not going off on his big trips? He wants to really embrace the role of a Celtic, and I think you see this year that Jaylen Brown is going to do a lot more in the community, and with Tatum out, and this is where we get into a little Celtics talk too. Yeah. With Tatum out, Jaylen Brown's going to have the weight of the Celtics on his back. So before you answer that question, what's your thoughts, on the water workout? Are we going to see one of those? Or
so honestly, when he first posted that, I was like, that's some intense training. Like that's insane. And I'm very competitive, so I'm like, I want to try that. I don't know, I don't have a pool or anything, so like if I can get access to one, best believe I'll try to reenact it, because the way no, that's next level. But that would be a stunt where I'm literally like trying to do what he did, because I think Peyton Pritchard said he could do the same thing but better, and I was like, yeah, nah, you crazy, because he's a hell of an athlete, like no question about it. But I'm gonna be in Atlanta in like 2 months, and there is a pool there, so like, hey, stay tuned. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, you might
Stay
have.
tuned. See, this is what we're gonna have to have you back on after you do the water training video and after you meet Jaylen Brown. When that comes, we're gonna have you back on and hear the whole
Yeah.
credit. But this is my question for you too. As a Celtics fan, obviously, I'm gonna pull this graphic up. We've had it, all throughout the season with Jason Tatum
I
and
heard,
his
man.
devastating injury. Um, what are your thoughts, though, on the Celtics going into next year? And what are your thoughts, on Jaylen Brown having to carry the weight of the Boston Celtics on his shoulders now and be a leader? And I think we talked about this a lot, too, how Jaylen Brown went out into the community with that 741 and is going to schools and really becoming a big public figure in Boston. What are your thoughts on all of that? And honestly, with the Celtics potentially going to having a bridge year next year, because with no Tatum, it's going to be a different look.
Yeah. So first off, heal up Tatum. Like when I seen the play, mind you, he just dropped 40, and in the family group chat, I literally said, because he had the pink JTs on, I'm like, he's dropping 40 tonight, and I'm as real as a fan of the game of basketball as I am as a Celtics fan. So when I seen those, and like obviously how we let the two games slip, I'm like, nah, he's dropping 40 tonight. And when he took that step, the non-contact, I'm like, I think he just tore his Achilles. Like, I didn't know that it happened or anything, but the way he moved, I'm like, I think he tore his Achilles. And then I remember Damian Lillard, what he did in the Bucks, literally when he was going up to the ball and non-contact. I'm like, so when the news came out, I was like, oh man. And if there's an injury that will be known as one of the worst, it's the Achilles, because you out for the season. Mind you, we were deep in the playoff. Well, not that deep, but we were deep enough in the playoffs that the offseason is right there. So it's going to take some real time to heal from that. And going to the next question about Brown taking on the weight, honestly, I feel like if there's anybody in the league that can deal with adversity and things of that nature, it is Jaylen Brown, because all of the headlines saying he got snubbed for a lot of reasons, specifically with the Olympics, because of the whole controversy with Nike, and they want a certain image, and he was not willing to kind of go out of his own way, not be himself, just to make the next person happy, which I fully agree with. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he also didn't like the way Kyrie was treated with Nike. So I don't know if you guys paid attention, but Brown, like, he wore Kobe's a lot. Obviously, Kobe was associated with Nike. And then when all that started going down, he took the Nike signs off. He was still wearing the Kobe's, but he took the Nike signs off. It was funny because I have my orange Nikes, and someone said that's not Brown. He has Nike signs on his Kobe's. But yeah, so like in the playoffs when we won the chip, it's like he was the most consistent. Like, obviously we have Tatum, and Tatum is just as much that guy, like breaking numbers historically and all that stuff as well. Not dismissing him in any type of sort in his level of play. But with that being said, like I said, if there's someone that can take on the weight of a team and the weight of the world, actually, I feel like Jaylen Brown's like the perfect candidate. So, as in this upcoming season, I feel like the moves are gonna really determine like what you can really do. Because I don't know what players are staying and what players are going. So if we have roughly the same team, or close to the same team, and our team is still good enough to be a contender, more so in the playoffs, not necessarily the finals, I think he's going to do just enough to take the weight on his shoulders and just pull it real far. So I mean, he's a natural born leader too. So even with like the 741, and just goes along like with him being in the community, also puts um into the reason like why I'm a fan of his, because it's like with the community of like what he's trying to do like in the schools and like the Black Wall Street and all that stuff, in a way kind of relates to what I'm doing with my brand and the giving and all that stuff. So I feel like a lot of ways we resemble each other like naturally. And at this point in time, it's like when I have something going and he does the same thing, or vice versa, it's like at this point I can't have anything to myself. So, but no, like in all seriousness, I'm actually excited for next season because I'm really curious to see how it plays out. The off season, all the moves that are going to happen, and then once game one hits, how that's going to look. But like I said for the last time, I feel like if there's one person in the league that can take the adversity and like all the weight of, just the pressure, I think Jaylen Brown's the perfect person.
Wonder if anybody's ever told Jaylen Brown he looks like Josh Griffith. Like, I feel like if I ever meet Jaylen Brown, I'm gonna tell him that. Just for you, for that one, because it's very, you guys do resemble, like you were talking about, you guys do resemble each other in many ways, other than just like typically when people look like each other, it's just the face, and there's like the other attributes just aren't quite there. It's like you have multiple attributes down to your personality to
Yeah.
relate to Jaylen Brown. And when you say like, oh, there's nothing of my own, I'm thinking on the other hand, I'm like, I feel like Jaylen Brown. It's like you're doing your own thing, but then it's like Jaylen Brown, he's doing the athlete thing over here, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm not saying Jaylen Brown's stealing your flow out here, but
Well,
I think he is.
everybody's unique, and sometimes when people are similar.
That more so came off of, like I said, I'm a music producer, so like I grew up in church. I naturally play like the keys and the drums and everything, and I make beats and whatnot. And then I'm pretty sure, like, at least like the world itself did not see Jaylen making a song and then releasing it. I did not see that coming. So it's like I can't have the music part to myself because then he comes and drops a song and it gets a
That'd be
million
sick
views
if you guys
overnight.
on a
I'm
little
like, dang.
music, a little music.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That'd
Best believe
be
I'm going to
awesome,
make a beat for
actually.
that man.
Hey, that'd be sick.
That'd be
I
awesome.
think oh,
There
sorry,
are
yeah.
a lot of ideas here. I'm just saying, a lot of ideas.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say.
Bring it up even more, and hopefully we get even more outreach for you. So yeah, Griff, go ahead though.
I think it's safe to say too that Jaylen Brown's stealing your flow. I think if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 20. He's okay. I'm 27. He's 28. I'm 6'5".
That's crazy.
6'6".
That is crazy.
Like,
So it's just like everything. It's like it's sick. That's
I think like you could go down to like Cancun and probably like get inside. I mean, you probably, it's like you, wherever Jaylen Brown is, I feel like you could, like, you remember, you're like the second iteration of, remember back in the 2010s we had fake Clay. It's like now we have fake JB. But remember fake Clay, he made his way inside the arena. I believe they were still at Oracle Arena at the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes his way inside the arena, starts shooting around, literally shot around for 10, 20 minutes until somebody was like, hey, this isn't Clay Thompson. Who is this guy out here?
Yeah.
And I just wonder, like, I wonder what opportunities you could probably 100% somewhere where Jaylen Brown is supposed to be. Like, you could probably work your way back through the back halls of TD Garden and probably make your way on court. I would say I probably wouldn't condone that. We're not condoning any of this behavior out here, NBA. Don't want to get the warning card. Don't want to get the warning card, but I do feel like I feel like you're better than fake Clay. If I'm not just saying that from a, we're Celtics program here. It's like fake Clay. Fake Clay. This is what I'm saying about your height. It's like fake Clay wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Clay Thompson 6'6". Fake Clay was like 6 foot. Like people were like, ah. It's like you have all the attributes. Again,
I have a question because Seamus mentioned the Celtics. Like, have you ever had the Celtics like organization like reach out to you, like the social media team or any like collaboration? Like, did they want to kind of like have you be in a video? Like, is there any that?
So I feel like the closest thing. So like I said, my aunt, she works at the YMCA that the junior Celtics, like they use their gym. So maybe the closest thing is like they wanted me to be there and interact with like the junior Celtics. Unfortunately, it was like a last minute thing, and I had to work that day, and it's like a 3 hour drive to get. So it's like it just didn't really go hand in hand at the moment. So I guess within the Celtics organization, maybe that's like the closest thing.
Sure.
Social media, I don't know. Like I know the Celtics posted me before. I know Sports Center, like they were in my DMs asking like can we post this? Can we repost that? Um but I've had a lot of in-person encounters with like even with like Scal and whoever else, like when it's like the halftime on some of my TikTok videos, it's like, why are we talking about it? Let's just ask Jaylen. And like everybody will turn to me, and I'm just like, oh god.
Great.
The people in the blue shirts, like everybody's taking double takes. I felt bad because one time there was the lady, you know how like they have like the food stands and whatnot, and I'm walking, and I wanted chicken tenders and fries, and um she literally looks up and she's like, oh my god. And I'm like, I'm not him. She's like, take whatever you want. I'm
That's
like, okay. Um, so at that point in time, I guess she told somebody that she met me. And the time after that, when I came back, she's like, you lied to me. I was like, I didn't. You just didn't want to believe me. Because another older guy at one of the concession stands he literally daps me. He's like an old guy too. And he just daps me up and he's like, what's going on, my friend? So it's like, people believe what they want. Because literally, there will be times where I point at the TV because they have TVs in the hallways. And I'm like, he's right there. He just got a layup and they yelled his name on the intercom, like Jaylen Brown. Like they literally just yelled his name, and I'm standing here with the water and fries in my hand. Like I don't know, but the people, like the security guards, the police, like everybody has different interactions with me. So I feel like when the time is right, I'll probably be able to make some noise in the arena to where floor seats or shoot arounds or I don't know, something. People definitely told me to take advantage like that Klay Thompson thing. I'm like, if I'm a diehard Celtics fan, I'm not trying to get banned for life from the arena.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. So
especially the way you carry yourself and the way like with your brand.
yeah, I would never.
Not the direction that you'd want to go. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a question too. So I'm obviously I had to wear the Jaylen Brown jersey, got it on here.
Yeah.
We gotta see the fit. If you don't mind standing up, you got the. I
So,
see that.
I have the. I mean, this is the warm up shirt.
Trailer coming out. Well, trailer would have already been out by now. You guys will see it too. You guys have the 741s in it too.
So yep, this is the first time. The first time I ever did the stunt, I wore this jersey. But the first time I did the stunt that blew up, I was wearing the jersey you have. That's still back in my room. So that one I bought at Dick's Sporting Goods in I forgot what part of Mass. And same thing. It's all in like the video that went viral. It was like the process of me getting ready and going to the game. Because I had the shorts, I didn't have the top. So when I went in the thing, when I went in the store, I was like, I need a whatever size jersey, and like the people already looking at me, they're like, I'm not even dressed in the uniform yet, and they're like, yo, you look like, and I'm like, Jaylen, yeah, I need his jersey, please. And they're like, oh wow, okay. So then eventually they got it to me, and at that point in time, they're like, can you put it on? And I'm like, sure, why not? So I put it on. I took a picture with like 3 employees, and I'm like, I didn't even go to the arena yet. And remember how you guys asked, like, do you learn things from like each encounter and whatnot? So it's like, because I remembered like my first ever experience when I did not really know what to expect. At this point in time, it's like I have an idea of what's about to happen. So all the energy that's coming my way, I literally just have to take it and reciprocate it in a positive way. But literally from any jersey, well, I don't even just get jerseys anymore. I get the tops and the shorts. So I feel like it's only right at this point. But yeah, the one that you have on, that's from a legendary night because that's when the salute happened. So
That's
never gonna forget that one.
You ever walk through a crowd sometimes and maybe like you're like, not today, man. Just like throw a little hood on and kind of just like sneak
Yeah,
through.
so I have a black hood. It doesn't really help because it says I look like JB on the front,
Oh,
and it has like the love hate thing on the
yeah.
back. I kind of like put my actually with this one too. I put my logo thing with it, so I wear do rags a lot, and like with my jersey, I kind of made like a tag for myself.
Oh, that's
Um,
dope.
so it's like a signature sticker, but when the game is on, literally, like I'm at the game because I want to watch it. Like,
Right.
yes, I'm the lookalike, and like the fans and stuff are gonna be there, but I ain't pay all this money just to be like in the hallway. I can literally be outside and wait for everybody. So there will be times where I jog, like I literally like run through people, not through people, but like maneuver around, eventually getting to my seat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that helps because they probably think that I'm him even more so because it's like a blow by. Like,
Yeah,
is
like
that
JB.
huh?
Gotta get the shoot around.
Has anyone
Yeah,
ever ran? Has everyone ever ran after you?
actually, yeah, a kid. Yeah, one kid. So like I jogged and then it has like the cutouts for whatever lodge you're in, and I got to my lodge, and again I don't see these things until I watch the playbacks. So the person I was recording is maybe like 10 to 15 feet away from me. So when I ran to where I was and I watched the playback, I see a little kid in a I forgot what jersey it was. I think it was Tatum's like high school jersey, and he's just running after me, and I didn't notice. So then when I stopped and he caught up to me, he's like, "I take a picture." I'm like, "Yo," and I only knew what he said because like at that point in time when I looked to the side, he's like right there. But then when you see like the full story, I'm like, how did I not notice that? Like these moments happen a lot. So um even when I went viral on TikTok, it's like there was this one kid, and he's like, "Oh my god, I follow this dude on TikTok. I'm gonna have a heart attack." And the mom's like, "Can you please relax, calm down?" He's like, "Mom, it's the lookalike." And I'm just like, moments like that is cool because it's like they don't think I'm him; they know me as someone else. So
Right.
that kind of like goes with what I was saying earlier. Is at this point, people know me as the lookalike or as Josh or whatever else, not just the imposter or who they think is him. And coming to find out, it's not him. So it's a
That's
cool experience.
definitely like that's kind of I will say like from my perception, you coming on this program, like there is a little bit of a celebrity vibe. I feel like. I mean, I'm just
I
like
I agree.
not necessarily like you're emitting celebrity vibe. I'm just saying from our perspective, it's like,
No,
Yeah,
hey, we know who you are. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
we know you're not Jalen, but we know who you are.
right.
We've seen you out there, like and you mentioned that game against the Denver Nuggets where he came out in that in the old City Edition jersey. We changed the City Edition jerseys every single year. Yep, there you go. Hold it up, Griffin. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like we've definitely known about you for quite some time, and you coming on this program, it's kind of we're not starstruck. We're not starstruck necessarily, but there
yeah,
is a little bit of a like, oh, it's like we know your reputation, we know who you are, and obviously after this program today, we know a lot more about you other than just being fake Jaylen Brown.
yeah.
But ultimately, you talk about being at the Garden a lot. How often would you say you go to the Garden, and would you say you've gained any extra opportunities to go to more Celtics games now that since you've been the fake Jaylen Brown? Would you say you've received more opportunity to go to Celtics games just in general, or would you say there's more of an incentive for you to go to Celtics games, or is it just much of the same with the bit attached on the end? You go to the same amount of games, and it's just now, oh, I'm fake Jaylen, and I get all these interactions.
Um. Okay, so like in a way, so the celebrity thing, to go off that first. So like I brought him up earlier, GRD. I didn't know who he was, and at the point in time where they like would do the halftime, with Scallon and Eddie House and whoever else was there, I was actually standing there because I was like, I need a little break. So I was just, it like in the back, and GRD actually approached me. Like, this is the first time I met him, but I still didn't know who he was. And he was like, "Yo, can I get a picture with you, dude? Like, you're going crazy over the internet." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Of course." So then later, I met Ian, Angelo, and he was like,
Celtics Talk Weekly's very own Ian and Angelo.
Yep,
There you
that
go.
so after
Oh,
that picture, he told me I need to get in contact with GRD. So I'm like, okay." So later that night, when I'm actually home and I type in GRD, I'm like, okay, so it's just a guy that has like almost 100,000 followers on Instagram. Nothing crazy. And I'm like, wait, I need to start like paying attention to who people are, because I had absolutely no idea. And then from that point forward, kind of like how you guys are now, like he started to get to know me for me. Um, and he added me to like the group chat, like diehard group chat, whatever. So I started meeting a lot of people in there, a lot of season ticket holders. So I'm not saying like I get like the crazy deals where I get to go to games for free or something like that, but some of the season ticket holders, they when they can't go in this last minute, they will like release their tickets for like very cheap. Um, So like if that's a deal for me, then I could say that happens a few times. Um, I've been to a few games, but games are expensive. So if you see me at the Garden, sometimes it's for the watch party. Like at this point in time, they want me at the watch party, so I try to go as much as I can. And because I, in a sense, knew we were literally going to win the championship that year, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be in Boston as much as I can, for like as much as the series. And it was funny because the first two series we lost, I think both game twos, and I was like, yeah, and again I think it was against the Heat and against the Cavs, and I was like, yeah, we're not losing another game two. I'm going to Boston. So that's when the headline was out, like, two JBs are better than one. I think he balled out that game too, which is kind of funny. But when you see me, sometimes I'm not even inside, because literally the watch party, you go up the steps and it's as if you're gonna go inside, but you literally go to the right and you go into the live, or
the
I
play.
think plays on the other side. Yeah, so like I'm there, but I'm not always in there, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess, and to go off of that, because I've been lucky enough to I went to a couple watch parties this playoff run, and unfortunately not the result we wanted, but it was still a
Yeah.
really cool environment, like a cool family like connection in there.
Yeah.
And like, what's your perspective on that? Like, just give us a rundown of your watch party experience, and if you've enjoyed it, or just anything. Yeah, explain that.
So the first time I went to a watch party, I don't know if you know Babs or Brian, whoever, however you
Yep.
know him by. So he and GRD were hosting the same watch party. Um, and they met me like, actually, now that I think about it, the first watch party I went to was in New Hampshire, and it was Boston against the Knicks, ironically. And I was like, you know what? I'm trying to take in all of the hype and run with it as long as I can. Best believe I'm trying to eat off of this as much as I can, like in a humble way, to
For
to
sure.
promote my, kind of keep myself relevant in a sense. So when I was told I should like really make my way into like the watch parties and whatever else, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go to New Hampshire, and my boy actually went with me another like 3 to 4 hour drive, which I didn't really care about. But that's when I met a few diehards that, met a lot of people, met a lot of players, met a lot of people within the organization itself or whatever else. So at that point, it was kind of a smaller watch party, and it was also in New Hampshire. So I was kind of like under the impression that it was gonna be like a picture that I seen, because the picture that he showed me, there was like easily like 200 people like in a small room. So I'm like, okay. But then when I went, it was kind of like it wasn't really a serious game or anything either. So maybe that was a reason, but it was definitely lower in numbers. So when I went to the arena watch party, like really like literally next door, when I walk in, everybody's attention kind of just like shifted to me. And at this point, there are easily like 200 plus people in the room. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm in a moment where I don't know what I'm in for again. So it was awesome. Like, literally, I feel like part of the reason it was awesome because you can hear like the doom, doom defense inside of the arena. And we're kind of like going off of their energy, like bringing it into the room. The giant TV. Brian literally was like, "Oh, look at JB's here! Give it up for JB!" And everybody started like literally clapping and cheering. And I'm just like, I just want to eat my pizza, man. So it's like I brought this onto myself, but that after that first watch party, I think at that point the people knew that aside from me being a lookalike and whatnot, I'm just a regular fan like everyone else. So this specific year, I only went to two. Actually, I went to one. The first one I was going to go to, one of the deals happened, and I went inside. It was like an obvious I need to go inside type of moment. But then the
Yeah.
one I did go to, as soon as I walked in, I literally was saying hi to everybody, people I didn't know, people I didn't know. So it was kind of like a familiar environment at this point. But the energy was there, the yelling, the screaming, the high fiving, the being upset, that like all the emotions. So if anybody has the opportunity to go to a GRD watch party, highly recommend. You're literally going to be like surrounded by your own people, and how you feel is probably how the person next to you feels. And like this only makes sense for you to enjoy. Even if we lose, like those points in time, at the end of the day, like literally we're taking group photos, just laughing with each other. I think it helps that we have a winning city and a winning team, even when we do lose. So it's like, that's that. But like I said, you're literally surrounded with your own people. So once again, like if you have an opportunity to go to a watch party, especially if it's ran by GRD or Babs or whoever, highly recommend.
I appreciate it. I have a couple more questions and then we'll get ready to close it off. But my last question, kind of on TD Garden and fan stuff, is what's your favorite thing about the Garden? What's your favorite thing about going there, the arena? Like, what's the thing that just drives you with Celtic green?
Um, so like I said, I'm very competitive, but I'm a crazy fan. Like if you see me in my own room or in my living room or even in front of my computer, like I'm yelling at the TV. I'm the coach. I'm the president of the organization. I'm a team player. I'm a I'm a referee. I'm everything. So once I like again at the watch parties or even inside the arena, I'm not changing for anybody. So when it comes time to be a fan, no matter where I am, that's literally the same person. So when I'm in the arena, it's like I notice that I'm in a way able to get the people around me to be more out of their shell, more hyped and everything. Because I'm like, as much as we have the greatest arena in the game, sometimes we could be real quiet, and it's
Yeah.
like when we're loud and when we're not like there. So there's been times where I started like the clap or like the defense or whatever. Like if I say something, I will yell at the people around. I'm in a competitive standpoint. I'm not the I'm like, if we're gonna be fans, we are gonna be real fans. So I will yell at the people around me like, y'all need to get up and start cheering. Like, what is now? We about to make some noise, and then you got that little section in the whole arena just starting to blow up, and then like it kind of makes its way around. Or I would see it on the other side. I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna be loud and we're quiet. Everybody needs to make some noise. So I noticed that in a sense, if I'm able to, get the crowd going or like the people around me going, I'm gonna do just that because I'm either gonna be loud by myself or with those around me. So whether it's one or the other, there's always gonna be one. I'll tell you that.
I love that. So I have one final question too, and then we get ready to close it out. But my final question is, obviously Celtics fans are down right now. It was a disappointing end to the season. Jason Tatum getting hurt. We're not sure what we're gonna do in the off season. What can you say, from a known face within the Celtics fan base to encourage fans to come on here and speak about, their journey and how they're Celtics fans, and just a uplifting message to, keep fans engaged and keep their hopes up.
Um, so I mean, I feel like any okay, there's one thing to be a fan, and then there's one thing to be a real fan. So, like I said, the Celtics, as much of a as much as they are as a basketball team, the Celtics organization and the team itself is like it's I don't know how like a word to put on it, but we're literally more than all of that. So to any real fan of the game of basketball, they need to understand we're not going to win all the time. So like you're not lucky, but you're lucky in a sense as a fan to be able to say your team just won the championship because like if your team wins, period, speak your piece. You just got a W, act on it. Literally look at New York. The last time they won a championship was like in 1973. I'm pretty sure the simple fact that they just beat the Boston Celtics in not even a series, just a game, they are running away with that. They are having the time of their life. So, I mean, as a fan of the game, and the team itself, like I can literally encourage the next Celtics fan to understand like there's always going to be that season where we don't win, and then there's going to be that season where we do, whether it was in 2008 or whether it was last year. Um, I also need people to understand like although we did lose the first two games, yes, we were up 20 and whatever else, but I'm not saying I'm glad we lost, but I would rather have went out in when we did. I didn't like how we played the last game. Absolutely not.
No.
But I would rather how we went in that series than to play the Pacers because we were very depleted. Like, I don't know if people understand, but Sam Hauser had a messed up ankle. Drew Holiday was still recovering from his finger. Porzingis literally had a bad respiratory infection since March. People don't know Brown was playing on a partially torn meniscus tear. Obviously, JT literally tore his Achilles. Like the amount of injuries that we had, it's like a lot of those injuries you do not want to play on. So, like, can you imagine Jaylen Brown literally, God forbid, getting a fast break and tries to dunk? Like, that's a lot of pressure on your knee going up for a dunk, not even just running. Or KP like you have to be able to breathe to keep up, not even to shoot, not even to do whatever, to play defense. You have to keep up with the other team. If you're putting your body through this much, like just like getting beat up and all that other stuff, like the more you do it, the more numbers you put on your body, the worse you could potentially be in the long run. So it's like you're playing for now, but are you really playing for now if we can be playing for next year and the year to come? So it's like if you know that you're going to struggle and potentially make things worse for yourself in the long run, that's what I was saying. I would rather like we just go out in this series because it's like I'm not saying we wouldn't have won the finals if we did make it to this series, but me thinking as a real basketball fan, well, a realist period, but then a real Celtics fan, it's like I would rather have like our full team in full depth at our full capacity in all aspects to be able to put up like a real run in the league. And obviously we go to the playoffs every year, so it's like when I say a real run, I don't mean the regular season. So like once again, just encouraging like the real Celtic fans. Literally, if you fall down, you're gonna get right back up. So even though we lost, like yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen in the off season, but we always have a winning season. Like for the past, can you tell me the last time we didn't make the playoffs?
Jeez, it's been a hot minute. Seamus, you'll be on.
2014.
Yeah, we can get
And
2014.
before
And then before that, it was
20,
2007. So
that's my
this
point.
century, we've only missed the playoffs like a handful of times out
Exactly.
of 25 years.
And like within the last 10 years, how many times did we make the Eastern Conference Finals? Like
Seamus,
17, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24. 6 times.
I don't know if you guys heard.
6 times since 2017. So that's what, 8, 9 seasons.
so we always have something to cheer for.
Right.
So like, even though the higher you know, sometimes the higher up you get, the harder the fall. But when you appreciate the game and like, you know, the level of like the skill set and the drive that you need to have, it's like there's 30 teams in the league. So if you're that one team that's practically winning 90+% of the time, you gotta appreciate that, because eventually you will, you know, you will get your chip. And I don't like when people put the narrative of like they gotta get it done. Like these brothers are still really young. So, you know, Michael Jordan did not win a chip his first year. Like, yeah, he has 6 rings, or people don't understand. Like sometimes it's a process. Like all the greats, when did LeBron win his first championship? Like compared to when he entered the league. Like he was in the 20 years now, and did he win his first chip in 2014 or something like that? Or somewhere around that time, but that's his first chip. How long has he been in the league prior to that? So it's like, I'm pretty sure, I don't really care about Cleveland, but like Cleveland fans having LeBron as long as they did, it's like you have the best player. It's like they appreciate that. So as a Celtics fan, being able to, again, being born into like this team, I've always appreciated that I have a winning team. So like, yeah, when we have deep playoff runs and when we finally win a chip, whether it was 2008 and more recent, it's like that's just the icing on the cake. But I would never be a bandwagon fan. So like we have those, and they're the first to be like, "Oh my God, we just lost," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a part of the game." But it literally, you know, when you have it's a saying that my dad literally just told me the other day. I'm gonna paraphrase: when you fall back, you can only come back. So it's like this can be our fallback, and then we can only go up from here. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Yeah, I'm just being like, because I play basketball too, so I understand like your sentiment and like where you're coming from. It's just like when you have the Celtics have something to play for every time they step to court, and that also means that the fans have something to root for every time, and like all you can ask for is a chance, like a run for the playoffs. And you've seen it, and you said it, like the watch party, those experiences that these Celtics fans have been able to gain. It's because they have at least a chance. You know what I mean? Obviously, winning is important, but it's not everything. Exactly what you said.
Yeah, and sorry for continue. Sorry for cutting you off. Yeah, I wanted to say again, thank you so much for joining. I want to say before I close it out too, everyone, if you guys want to join the podcast, remember to hit up our DMs and, you know, leave some comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe and keep post notifications on to stay tuned. But would you like to say anything else before we wrap it up?
I mean, me personally, I want to say, you know, I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you, for the opportunity and like the really encouraging like welcome and everything. Like I like I just met you guys, but it feels like, again, like the Celtics are just like family oriented. So I feel like I've known you guys for God knows how long, and it's just like a meetup. Like this is my first time on a podcast, so it just seems like a group FaceTime call. So now, like, thank you for this moment, and it's definitely just going to be one of those things I can add to my like times that I will always remember. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do have to say this too. When we have you back on, we need to pull up this picture. We need to have this picture up, and we need to have a picture of you and JP.
But pull it up one more time.
Yeah, of course.
Wait, is that 45 or is
that
that 40?
looks like a 40? That looks like
I think it's a 40.
All
See,
right, I'll say what.
And I was talking to Seamus, and I was saying, Seamus, you can't knock on it until you try it. So we genuinely need to be in the water trying that workout and see if you're already planning it in Atlanta. I think you got to come back on here and tell Seamus, listen, I think you can't say anything until you go in the water and hit some weights.
I'm gonna get a 40-pound weight. I'm gonna get a 40-pound dumbbell, and I'm gonna try to take that picture exact. I don't even know what type of mask he had on, but
let's go check.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
I'm gonna do my best to remake
It's
that.
a 41 mask. It looks like high
tech. Yeah.
High
That
tech.
is some high tech gear.
So yeah, we got it. We're this isn't gonna be the last time you're on. You're gonna have to join us.
Stay tuned.
So I do want to say too to you. I want to say thank you again so much. I think what I realized from talking to you today is that it coming into it, it's a fun thing. You want to be Jaylen, like you want to wear the jersey and have fun with it, and you're respectful about it. You don't sign autographs and stuff, and I think you're doing such a nice thing. And I think this is what's so wrong with the world. A lot of people will do such nice things and great and make people have laughs, and they'll twist it into an evil thing. So it's not, and you don't deserve any of the hate, and that's what makes people strong. That you could just brush that hate off, and you'd have fun with it, and a lot of people love it. And honestly, it just became a thing where, and the reporter who we gotta find out who that was.
I have the videos. I could send it to you.
Yeah, we got to figure that out, because just twisting it like that, I mean, a lot of reporters, they'll twist a lot of the things people try to do, because I'm sure if he watched this podcast too, he would realize that you're a great guy and never met anything like that. So go spam him with some love and go get that merch. You want to shout it out one more time?
Yeah, so the Instagram page is Deeno, DEENO _apparel. So when you see it, it also has like a caption under explaining what the brand is and like kind of like who I am, but how it relates to any and everybody. So once again, it's Deeno _apparel. So I appreciate that too.
Go check it out. And with that being said, that's going to do it for the show. Seamus is going to kill me because I have the old logo in there right now. So just don't mind it. It'll be changed right after this episode. This is the last time you will see that logo. But thank you guys again so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications to be notified every time we upload. It's going to be crazy this off season, and the content is going to keep rolling. So make sure you guys stay updated. We will see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys. Peace.